So I'm glad you're all drinking alcohol because what we're gonna talk about is very conceptual.
Awesome.
So, I've been an artist my whole life, and about 9 years ago, 8, 9 years ago, I was doing more and more art. I was doing it in my garage and starting to produce some stuff because my kids weren't around anymore, you know? Funny how that, you get more time.
Empty nest is the best.
So my partner Ken Wink encouraged me that I needed to start showing my art publicly. And, that's like, for an artist, that's a pretty big kind of a step, right? And, what are people gonna think? Right? Anyway, I got over it. I'm showing everywhere. And the idea was I would start doing this as a way to, be creative, but have something to do as I ramped down my career at Ware Malcomb someday, right? So what happened was it exploded, and I've been super busy on the art just as well, and so I'm very fortunate in that way. But that's nice. But I want to tell you about the art. Everything behind all of the work you see is based on layers. So I have this idea in my head, and it's manifested in my architecture for years. It's based on layers, and I call it kind of the overall arcing theme of it, layered vision. And so for me, everything in life is layered, and it's very kind of a conceptual thing. So I'm going to give you guys some assignments tonight, but I'm going to give you some examples. Right now in this room, we have all kinds of layers of relationships. I don't know some of you very well, and I know some of you really well, and I know my wife Sandy super well. And in there's all kinds of layers and overlapping layers. So right now there's thousands of them in the room, right? Just with emotion and relationships and thought processes. And then there's more physical layers that you can look at. You can look across the canyon when you come out of the room, and you can see sort of the layers of light and the three-dimensional layers of space, and kind of look at it in that way and kind of understand it in a little different way. And then later, when the music goes back on, there's going to be layers of sound. Everyone's going to be talking, we're going to be drinking, and trying gin, and the music's going to be playing. And for me, what's really cool, sometimes if you're in your car and you're on your way to anywhere and you're listening to music, listen to like the third or fourth deepest layer of instrument in that piece of music. Like, focus on it, and you see what I'm talking about. And so that's what my art is. Everything in my art is kind of trying to manifest and explain that idea. And I get my inspiration from all kinds of things. It's sort of this layered metal pieces on the wall right now, believe it or not, are based on fly fishing. Because I have 3 really awesome friends in the back that have taught me how to fly fish, and I'm a super novice at fly fishing, but I'm very inspired by it. Kind of the Zen experience and the layers and ripples of the water and the fish and the challenge of trying to actually catch a fish, which is super hard. And so this particular series is based on that. Dave and David Scott get the credit for that. So the floor, the floor is kind of my accidental leftovers from many pieces of art, but super layered. And we're about 6 years into this layered experiment here, and it's got a long way to go. So that's kind of it. I wanted to explain kind of what I think and how it manifests. And I think this is going to be a long journey because I think I have a long way to go on this and a lot of pieces to create. And, you know, this house and this studio are all based on the same idea. There's very many layers three-dimensionally throughout this whole project from a design standpoint that I could explain to you in a lot of detail if anybody cared. But it matters to me. So that's kind of it. So think about that. So when we make our way out of the room, there's going to be a lot of noise. And so try to listen to the layers. And then when we get upstairs and the music starts playing, just sort of try to experience that. And then you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Hey guys, sorry, I was just having a beer. Did he answer the question about the value of art? He did, right?
No,
You did?
nobody knows.
Well, some
It's so random.
crazy guy spent $450 million on a piece of art
Yeah.
that's going in the Louvre
Okay.
in like Saudi Arabia. How's
Okay,
that?
one of the great questions is how do you value art? Nobody knows.
Oh, no one knows.
Believe me, I've tried.
How do you tell them?
Did we talk about the memorial?
I didn't.
Oh,
Okay.
you guys, this is really important.
right, so-
okay? I was
all right.
born on 9/11.
All right, so
this-
one last thing. Sinan introduced me to a lady who runs a nonprofit military support organization who was interested in creating a traveling memorial to all the troops we've lost since 9/11 in the war on terror. So I didn't want to do it. I told Sinan, absolutely not. And he goes, just talk to her. Let's have a conference call. Let's talk to her. I said, all right, fine. So we talked to her. This lady, super passionate, had a real vision for what she wanted to do. She wanted to honor these troops. There's no memorial right now. This is an ongoing, as we've heard, ongoing effort that really has no end. And so she wanted to have a memorial that could travel so that people in every state that had lost family members could go and visit it easily. And so I have designed it. They commissioned me to design it, and it's a really cool project. Really super honored to be able to design it. That's just a screenshot of it over there. It's a round pavilion sitting on a platform, and the exterior is polished stainless steel, and it's covered with layers of glass panels. The names would be inscribed on the glass panels, and it needs to have enough capacity to add names all the time. So as opposed to Vietnam, you know, they built the memorial after everything was over with, and there was
all the names.
finite names. This is not going to be like that. So it sits on a platform. It's as you approach, it's flanked by flagpoles with the flags from all the military organizations in the U.S. and the state flag that wherever it happens to be sitting. And you can walk around and reflect. But then you go in, and you can go inside. It's about a 30-foot diameter pavilion, and the entire thing is lined with video screens. And so it would be a digital experience, and it would be updatable and customizable depending on what state it's in.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea.
And mobile.
It's and movable, which, you know, when it's sitting there, it's intended to have a sense of permanence, but it has to move. So, you know, kind of an interesting challenge, because you want it to look halfway decent, right? It's got to look like it's a memorial, but you do have to take it apart and move it.
There's an excellent video on this that I want you guys to watch, and we presented this to Mark Zuckerberg, Parker Kennedy, Bill Lyon. So we have a lot of leaders that are interested in looking at this, and you know, it's not just funding, but it's technology. So like I'm going to the FA conference at Facebook in a couple weeks, and like their 360 technology would be absolutely perfect for that. So these are the types of things that we're doing. So thank you so much for all that you do, and for, you know,
Yeah,
your
so-
time and hosting us tonight.
All right, don't forget about your assignment now. Layers. Pay attention to this one, okay? That's the most important thing. I don't want you guys to get distracted. All right. Let's go.
30 seconds on Orange County Homeless and United Way.
All right, one more thing. Okay, so yesterday we launched United End Homelessness. And it's an organization in Orange County run by United Way, partnering with the county and several other organizations. I'm chairing the Leadership Council because we're gonna do what that says. We're gonna end homelessness in the county. So, we have a website, go on it, take the survey, check it out. You keep distracting me, I wanna talk about layers.
I want to talk about philanthropies.
All right,
Cool.
are
It's
we
all good.
done?
Yeah, we're done. Okay, so